Hey guys, this is going to be a new one. I'm going to be showing how I made this kind of like looping animation inspired by the Magic the Gathering card Ponder. It's kind of like a speed render showing my process. There'll be some commentary, but most of it is going to just be fast forwarded. So feel free to go to my Patreon to grab the entire project file if you want that. It's free, or just leave a comment below. Thanks so much. Obviously, first things first, you pull in the reference. So here's the art we're going to kind of copy. So we have a few elements in here, right? We have the moon. We have moon, hand, space, and then face. These are the four elements we have to make to kind of have it all work. We fix it with lighting materials. So I will go through and do each of these. I'm probably going to start off with the hardest thing first when I have the energy for it, and then I can end with the easier things. So the hardest thing first is for sure the hand. I'm going to do this, I think, with just some sub-D modeling. I'm going to do a low poly version of a hand rather than trying to do something sculpting, because I'm not very good at sculpting. So let's be a bunch of cubes. And here I'm going to add some more loop cuts to make sure that the hand kind of has the creases with the joints. I'm kind of just doing rough measurements. And then on the loop cuts, I'm gonna bevel it and then do 3 segments to get that middle one in there. I think actually it's too fat, the hand, so all of it A, scale, X. Pull it in a little bit. How's that look? A bit better. Nice, it's looking okay. And then I probably need to add more loop cuts around the joints so that way it'll deform cleaner. So we'll do something like this. Nice. Okay, my hand, low poly, bad hand. So my hand is done. I'm gonna make a copy of it and I'll make a new collection. We're gonna wanna apply the modifier, so we just do F3, set convert material, and then shade auto smooth. It's looking okay. Just do one more. Yeah, it looks okay. And then F3, convert to mesh, and we have these guys. It's looking all right. And then what we can do is we do an armature for this guy. And we're going to do Shift A, add a new armature, and we're just going to do one bone. Go over here to the viewport of it, viewport display in front. This is going to be root. Grab it down here, scale it, make it much smaller, grab it here. And then we're going to go into edit mode for here, and we're just going to extrude out a mesh or an armature for it. Okay, and we'll check the other angles, make sure it's all kind of lined up. X is looking good, Y is looking good, Z is looking good. It's kind of all in there, fantastic. And we're gonna wanna parent this all to this. Let's think about this. So if this wrist goes down, it might look weird. Maybe this one should be parented to this one. Control P. I think what I also wanna do is have some IK rigs as well at the end of the fingertips. Maybe that'll be helpful, maybe not. We'll find out. Nice. Okay, so then we have object mode. Let's just grab the rig. Let's call this hand rig 1. Select the mesh, then the rig. Automatic weights. Let's see how this works. Control tab, pose mode, raw. Nice. My hand is working okay. We have it roughly rigged. Now we got to make it look like the grasping hand. My hand Does it match the pose perfectly? No. Are we getting kind of close? Yeah, I think so. We have our hand rig. So that was kind of how we got to the rough hand. We did a low poly sculpting, and we also did Control Tab to get out of it. We did low poly sculpting and kind of just made the rig look kind of be right in this camera view. Looks pretty close. Obviously, it could be way better. I'm kind of happy with it. We're grabbing with the root, and it's kind of there. Now we do the moon. The moon's gonna be very easy. We're gonna do a mesh, cube, Control 3. Wow, that was so fast. We have the spheres. We have the moons, we have the hand, and then we need to do, what was it? The face, which I think I'm gonna do a clever trick to fix that quickly. And also the space thing. So for space, we're gonna do, I think, just a big volume mesh, and then just do, we can just fake it. We can fake it pretty easily. No, I think it'd be nice to have it be real. So we're gonna be doing a big volume. Nice. Okay, so here now I'm happy with kind of the rough kind of like nebula clouds. So I'll say like nebula clouds. That's done here behind it. And then I'm gonna add the stars behind that as well. So Shift A, mesh plane, grab, rotate X, Y 90, scale 10, scale 1.5 maybe. Grab X, pull it back. Now I made a basic material for the moon right here with just going into the shading space, and I just did basically some noise textures, darkening it with a Voronoi. So to kind of have this kind of splotches darkened in, putting it into a bump to get some of those fake little bumpies, and just putting it into the principled BSDF with the normal node right here. I did some roughness mapping with just a map range just to make it easy with the same kind of driver result. And then to kind of make sure the Voronoi is not perfectly circular, I added in a noise texture, which is a tiny bit of a mix right here. Now I'm gonna do some light grouping for the hands. Make sure the moons only show lighting based off of what we want to see. So we want to have only the lights be impacting specific objects. So in the object properties panel, you can go to there and then go to light linking, say new, and then I'll just say nice. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out so far. It's not exactly perfect, but that's okay. We still need to do the face. So to do the face, I will do a Suzane. I thought that'd be a fun way of ending it. I do a Suzane. And now I'm going to do some animations with the geometry node modifiers to make it super easy. So this will be up and down. So I tinkered around a lot with this scene, and I think I'm finally stopping it for now. I'm a lot happier with how the render kind of finished turning out here. It's kind of what I'm seeing now. So what I did was I made sure everything kind of moved at the very end. So I added a bunch of keyframes on the objects. So let's just go over everything one more time so you kind of know how I did all of the scene. So again, we have this as the reference, and then it's not exactly the same as the reference at all, but I'm still happy with, this is obviously the reference. So even though it's not exactly the same as the reference, I'm quite happy with how close it turns out in terms of overall feel. So we see the render, we have the moons kind of going in order of fullness. We have a little hand, and we have a space scene with a face with the Suzane behind it. So I'm pretty happy with it. This took way longer than expected. So essentially what I did was I first modeled the actual hand. And so by doing that, what I did was I did subdiv surface modeling with just a cube and extruded out the fingers. I realized when I was making it, I didn't make a joint for the thumb. So that was a mistake. So you see this, you see over here, this should have an extra joint in the rig, but I got too lazy for it. I was kind of looking at my own thumb and I thought, I don't know, I just looked at it wrong because it still has 3 joints. There's one inside the kind of palm, and then there's 2 for the thumb. So I knew there's 2 for the thumb. I just kind of looked at it wrong for some reason. Anyways, yeah. And then for the moons, it's just circles or spheres, I guess. And then for the Suzane, it's just a Suzane, and this was a big kind of like volume essentially I made to have catch the lights, kind of make a little nebula cloud effect. And I added a plane for the emission with the stars. So let's kind of jump into those groups really quick so you can kind of see what I was doing. A lot of it was just going back and forth and kind of messing with everything. And then for the animations, I just did scene time with frame drivers to make it really easy for myself. Again, all of this will be on my Patreon, so you guys can just take it. I tried to make the scene cleanly labeled. It did not last for very long. So a lot of it was just trial and error and moving things around. The skin texture was really easy to do. It's basically just it was literally just a principal BSDF with the weight of the subsurface turned on, and the scale was increased a little bit. I did a noise texture, kind of add in some kind of gradient for the color of these little spots. It kind of makes it look a bit more skinny. That was pretty easy to do. And then for the moon, the big thing was the light linking. So for each of the lights right here, you have to go over here into the object properties. You can set light linking groups, so they only impact certain areas. So if I didn't do the light linking, I wouldn't have been able to kind of make the lights look like they're kind of matching the overall view of the moon. So if I move this around, right, that's on this light linking group, and so it won't impact the other moons. And so I probably should actually clean up a little bit to make it a bit more lined up. Anyways, so basically it was just moving these around to make sure we can get the light linking to look correct. And again, even here, I'm trying to explain this, but I'm still tinkering. So it just goes to show you're never really gonna stop tinkering. You have to let it go eventually. And when I was working on it, actually, I had a really hard time with the moon texture, and then it kind of came together. So what I did was I was trying to do some sort of normal mapping with the bump, and then I realized I wanted more of the painterly look, and so then I just did some Voronoi mapping right here to kind of get these splotchy looks for the normals, and then I combined it with a couple linear lights to kind of have it all meshed together. So that's why we get this kind of more painterly look. Without that, it wouldn't kind of have that painterly look. I think that really improved it. And then Big Suzane is literally just a transparent and translucent mixed together with a mix shader. And then this is just an emission. Nice. So this is the overall scene. And I also I did some geometry node groups on top of this with just simple animations using the same thing. And I just offset all of them. So it's a super fast way of doing these different kind of up and down movements that looped perfectly and were just slightly, off and different. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Anyways, I think I really learned a lot in this video, making it for you guys. I know that my modeling skills really need to be improved, but to be honest, for my first time making a hand, I'm actually pretty happy with it. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and feel free to drop a comment below.
Augury.